So I am Rosemary Wilson, as Wesham's introduced. So for anyone who hasn't heard me, I will explain a little bit more about me in a second, but I just wanted to say welcome. And I really do hope you get something out of this session. Can I just ask, I think someone might have their mute on, they've got their sound. I think that's okay now. So super. Thank you very much for joining me. Let me hide my controls. So today's session is on building self-confidence. And obviously we all know what confidence is, and everyone wants a little bit more confidence, or wants amazing confidence, or just, just a tiny, tiny, weeny bit more. Some people are amazingly confident and they don't need this session. They just want to listen and learn, which is absolutely fine. Hopefully the point is you get something from this and you take it away for yourself or to help someone else. So I've started off with the session, I can and I will. That is my definition of what confidence looks like to me. So I am Rosemary Wilson. If there's anybody on LinkedIn, if anyone uses that platform for connection networking, QR code, snap it and connect with me on LinkedIn. You can then find out about things I'm doing either on Intonations or, well, actually not on Intonations, but anywhere else if you want to. So a little bit about me. I'm a speaker, coach, a mentor, and a workshop facilitator. So I run workshops and sessions like this, and I do aim for people to get value from them. I also work with clients one-to-one on a one-to-one basis, mainly women who want to thrive in what they do or take the next step in their career. I work with organizations who are committed to diversity and inclusion. I help them to retain talent and really help their talent to grow. So that's just a little bit about me. It's not the me show today. I want to give you value. So I'm going to crack on and make sure we've got enough time. I do talk a lot, but it's not that kind of whiny, oh, she's going on. Everything I say is designed to make you think or to take action. Because Wesham's already explained, because I do ask deep questions, sometimes we have people giving me their life story during these sessions. So that's why we're not going to record you having interactive discussions. So just want to let you know, it's not because I don't want to hear you speak, it's just that we're recording. So we'll save the deep discussions till after the recording has finished. So the aim of this session is I'm going to be talking through confidence. What does it look like? What are the details behind confidence? So self-belief for me is the first step to true confidence. And your self-belief either creates or denies your power. I'm going to be talking about what else creates or denies your power. I'm going to be littering this with self-reflection questions so you can ask yourself, so you can hopefully get something out of it as to what your next step's going to be. Grab a pen and a piece of paper or something to make notes with if you use your phone, but do make some notes for yourself, because I'm fairly confident, but I want you to be confident too. So grab a pen and paper for your own notes. I'm going to be talking about choice and action. What choices do you have and what action you can take? And I'll be sharing practical tools throughout the session on what you can do to develop your killer confidence. And then lastly, we'll go to the Q&A, at which point the recording will be switched off. It's going to be interactive. I'm going to be asking you questions, and they are questions to make you think. Don't really want any lazy people here, sorry, but as in, I want you to do some work. I can't do the work for you. I do want you to do the work for yourself. So first question, in 1 or 2 words, please don't give me a long paragraph. What would you like to get out of the session? Be specific. If you say be more confident, what does that mean? So be specific. You want to you want to be promoted. So promotion would be specific. You want to change career, that's specific. You want to enhance your love life, that's specific. So what would you like to get out of the session? Just in 1 or 2 words, not a paragraph, because remember I have to read it. So please share with me what you'd like to get out of this session. And then I will look at the chat box to see what you're saying. And I do need my glasses. I need a bigger screen, actually. Tools for self-belief, okay. Let go of not good enough. Wonderful. Creative energy. That's deep. Self-development. Okay. I would ask you what self-development looks like. I'm not going to ask you, Aishin, because I know you'll give me a long story, but you can tell me what that looks like at the end. Self-development, maybe just in general. Be in control of the image I have of myself, whatever happens in the environment. Okay. Make a success of my business. Okay. Thank you very much for sharing our interviews. Yeah. Okay. I'll try and remember some of these. Help being agile. Interesting. Clarify areas where I'm less confident and increase social skills. Okay, I'm going to stop reading now. Empowerment at work. Okay, thank you very much for sharing. What I will do is ask you at the end if you've got something you can do based on what you've just shared with me, if you've got something that you can do when you leave this session. Later on, I'll ask you that. So please remember what you've said. It's yours. I can't remember everything. And then we'll discuss it at the end to make sure that you've got something out of it. So this is my quote. I've never met a truly confident person or a truly confident soul who speaks badly of themselves or others. In my life, in my world, what I see, people who are truly confident in their skin, who own their skin, they don't have the need to speak badly of themselves or others. So I can literally hear when I'm in an environment with other people, how they talk about themselves and how they talk about other people, whether or not they're confident. So when you are, comfortable in your own skin, you just flow. It just flows. You might think things about other people, but you don't feel the need to go around bitching about other people or saying nasty things about them. Obviously, the world is real. We think things about other people, but we don't need to be spiteful and mean to yourself or to other people. So just remember that as well. And for me, confidence really is a state of mind. You can have two people with exactly the same skills, capabilities, abilities, who one of them is doubting themselves constantly or saying they lack in confidence, and the other will be happy, trying to figure things out, rolling with the punches, as they say, trying to make things work for themselves, being more confident. And the only thing that's different about the two of them is the way they think, their mindset. So when you have these small elements of I believe in it or I don't, I can and I will, you start to recognize where your state of mind sits. So if you're someone who constantly says, oh, I can't do it, it's too hard, it's too difficult, or someone says, oh, I've never done that before, I'm going to give it a try, let me see how it goes. That is the difference. They both have the same skills and abilities, but they just speak to themselves in a different way. So I'll share a little bit more about that in a second, about the whole self-talk syndrome. There's a new word, there's a new phrase. So what state of mind do you regularly put yourself in? So self-belief. So those who said they want to believe in themselves more, or anything that looks like that, you just remember that your self-belief either creates or denies your power. What you believe about yourself either makes you stronger or takes your strength away or makes you weaker when it comes to what you want. And I'm not talking about being strong compared to others or being strong comparing yourself to others. I'm talking about what you want in life. Your self-belief either creates or denies your power. It either gives you power or it takes it away. Your self-talk is part of that. Your self-talk, you can recognize how you believe about what you believe about yourself in your self-talk. And I'll give you some examples in a second. I can and I will. That is an example of someone who believes in their abilities. That type of language also motivates you. It makes you go and get what it is that you want in life. So career changes, starting your own business, your self-belief, belief in your skills helps you to motivate, helps to motivate what you want in life. And it is a determinant to those of you and those of us who go out and get what they want. It doesn't mean that everything lands on your doorstep and it's all easy, but the difference is that you believe it to be true. You believe you can do it, so you go after it. And even if it doesn't turn up how you want it to turn up, you don't feel bad about that. You make decisions based on the outcome if you haven't got what you wanted. So I'll go on a little bit more about that later on, but I hope that makes absolute sense with what I'm saying. You know, your self-belief creates or denies your power. Every day we make choices around our self-belief. You either give yourself the options to be strong, or you give yourself the option to be weaker and not get what you want. So here's some examples of self-talk. If you've been to one of my sessions before, you will see this table. I love this table because it's a true table. Your self-talk, and these are examples of the types of things that we say to ourselves when we're not particularly confident. You can say it like just one day, but if you're saying it repeatedly over a number of weeks, months, years, then you're stuck. If you say, oh, I can't do this today, and it's Monday because you're not feeling great, and then next week, Monday, you say, you know what, I'm going to try and do this, I'm going to figure it out, then you've moved on. But if you're stuck in this rut of this type of self-talk, then you are stuck, and then it's harder for you to be more confident. So have a look at this table, and I'm not going to read them out, that you sometimes say to yourself. And now just remember that. Remember what it is that you say to yourself. And what I'm going to do later on is give you some new ways of thinking, how to reframe this language. I can take my glasses off now because I'm not reading the screen anymore. So just have a look, figure it out. I might be going too fast, but I can go back to the slide if you want me to. But just have a think about, where do you often go to? What's the type of language you do if you're stuck on the lack of self-belief? So I'm going to leave that for a second, and then I'm going to move on. So take a screenshot if you want to, or listen back to the recording. So these are, I did a word cloud. So I work with clients one-to-one and on a number of issues, but around mainly confidence, emotional intelligence, and career changes. So since December, this is a snapshot of some of the things that I've heard come from clients that I've spoken to. They're either phrases or a set of beliefs, let's call it. So I'm scared. There's procrastination because you don't feel confident, so you don't take any step because you don't know what to do, or you think you don't know what to do. There's the other one, don't know what to do, so you do nothing. You expect change to just happen, that you're going to wake up one day and everything is going to be different. You don't have enough time. You don't know how to change. You don't know where to begin. Fear, 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 constantly. Fear, that word should have its own house. Acceptance that this is just the way it is. And there's a missing ingredient. Some people think there's a missing ingredient, meaning they can't do it themselves. They're expecting someone else to do it for them. And that's the missing ingredient, someone or something else. Confidence has to come from you. It can't come from somewhere else. It can't come from something else. So this is just a small snapshot of some of the phrases and behaviors that I've heard since December. We're now in February. So that's not that long. I think I started gathering this on the, I think it was the 17th of December. So it's 2 months. Imagine if I do it for longer, what type of language? And if I asked you right now, what type of language, you would probably give me a lot more to add to this word cloud. But just to give you some examples of the types of things along with that self-talk. So the lack of confidence is really about, it's like a domino effect, that the more you don't believe, the more you just literally knock yourself down. It just spirals into this pattern of behavior. And these are the types of things that are causing it. So again, there's fear. We all fear something: fear of success, fear of failure, fear of not knowing, fear of not being good enough, fear, 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 fear. It's everywhere. And fear leads to lots of different things. It can be overwhelm. So you might have so many things going on in your head, you become overwhelmed and you don't know what to do. You don't feel particularly confident. Overthinking. Who's an overthinker? So you think so much Oh, if I do this, that's going to happen. If I do that, that's going to happen. If I do this, this is going to happen. And we go into this perpetual cycle of overthinking, which gets you nowhere, and you don't make any decisions, and it leads you to analysis paralysis. And then again, you stop doing anything, procrastination. Another one is you think that greatness doesn't happen to you. Greatness happens to others. You look at someone else who's confident, they're doing well or seemingly doing well. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes. And you think, oh gosh, look at them. They're so amazing. And then you think, oh, but I couldn't do that. And you get into your little kind of your slump. You think that greatness happens to others. Well, why can't greatness happen to you? If you take the steps, greatness can happen to you too. Undervaluing yourself. Sometimes you undervalue yourself because you're thinking greatness happens to others. It doesn't happen to me. And I'm sure if I were to ask each one of us, each one of you here, we've had one of these experiences at some point in our lives. So that domino effect. So be careful of that language and that behavior and that way of thinking. It's literally the same thoughts and the same behaviors will knock you down. That perpetual cycle of thinking about the same things, of not being confident, will just continue to keep knocking you down, the domino effect. So action. So you've heard all the bad news. So let me give you some good news. What practical steps can you take for that killer confidence that you seek? So self-reflection time. In 1 or 2 words, specific words, what do you want to be more confident with? So I asked you the question, what you want to get out of this session, but in your own well-being or your own personality or your own confidence, whatever you want to call it, what do you want to be more confident with? Again, be specific. So when I say be specific, it means from whatever you write, you will be able to take action. So if it's say someone says a career change, so you want to be more specific. Do you want to be more confident with writing your CV? Someone said interviews. That makes sense to me. You want to be more confident with interviews. So then you need to practice your interview skills. So be specific about what you want to be more confident with, and then I'll have a little look at what you're saying. Talking in public, Sadie, okay. Dealing with the boss. Oh, could be a tough one. Depends what your boss is like. Getting out of my comfort zone. Okay. Fides, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Think about what getting out of your comfort zone is, what it means, and let's talk about it at the end. Dealing with your boss. Dealing with the boss. Wessam? Dealing with your boss. All right, we'll give you some tips on that. I'm like, Wessam, you just grab him by the throat and tell him I'm the boss. I'm joking. Don't grab anyone by the throat. I'm not an advocate of violence. Contributing to conversations. Start worrying about if it failed. Yeah. And start your own business. Yeah, great. Dare to be myself totally. And Cedric, I'd love to know what that means. Dare to be yourself totally. What would you do? You don't have to answer that to me, but answer that for yourself. What would you do if you were yourself totally? What would be the first thing you do? Dealing with hard people, reluctant to change. Okay, that's interesting. Trust that I can succeed. Wonderful. Okay, we can talk about these again at the end. Remember what you've said. It's not my job to remember what you've written. I can scroll back through the chat, but yeah, we'll talk about more specifics later on. Perhaps I can give you some 1 or 2 tips at the end. Wonderful. Thank you very much for sharing and being open with me. Okay, I'm not even going to go there. Dealing with the untouchable forces. That sounds interesting. So the first thing is, I'm going to ask you, are you in your own way? Do you need to get out of your own way? What do you see yourself as the blockers? Are you blocking yourself? Do you have a closed mind? Are you someone who dislikes change? Are you someone who is not trying? Are you the person that is just happy to have a different day, saying you want to change, but you're doing the same shit? What is it that's going on for you? Change can only come about with change. So what do you need to do? What do you need to get out of your own way? So ask yourself that question, because what I find about confidence is that often people are quite scared to be honest with themselves. You've got the mirror and you look in the mirror and then you see something else, you make it up, which is not true. You have to hold up the mirror and be honest. What do you need to do to get out of your own way? I personally, I have lots of ideas. I'm an incredible ideas person. I've got so many ideas, they're coming out my ears. I can't do them all. And one day I've got to admit to myself, I can't do them all. But what I do, which I'll never will do that because that takes the buzz out of it. But what I've done now is I prioritize my ideas. And I look at what's real. What can I really do? And with my honesty, you know, I've got bits of paper everywhere. And every now and again I collect them, I write them up, and I think, oh, this ideas list is huge. So if anybody wants to start a business and you need some ideas, come and talk to me. I can give you lots of ideas and I can tell you how to get going. I'm just one person, I can't do them all. So that's me getting out of my own way. I had to prioritize my ideas because I couldn't do them all, and I had to stop believing that I could do everything. That's me getting out of my own way. Action equals confidence. Some people wait until they're more confident to take action. I actually think confidence comes with action. So if you're scared to speak in public, speak in public. Feel scared and speak in public. Go up on the stage with your knees knocking and your jaws chattering and speak. Do it in a small group that you trust, maybe. Do it in a group of friends. Do it in a people who are honest. Do it in a group of people that you trust, but just do it. Take the action. And the more you do it, the more confident you become. I don't know if I've told you this story before, but I've done stand-up comedy. I took a class and I had to do stand-up comedy in a club in front of 120 people as part of my graduation. I had to make people laugh. Can you imagine how scared I was? But what if I'm not funny? Who said I'm good at this? And then I got up on the stage and I started, and people laughed, the first laugh, and I was like, oh, okay, they're laughing. And then the second laugh came and I was like, oh, and the third laugh came, not just one person, the group. And I started to enjoy it. So, you know, confidence comes with action. You know, I wanted to do stand-up comedy. It had been on my bucket list, my ideas list for years, but I got up and I did it. I took the class and I did it. I did the writing and I delivered it. So confidence comes with action. Say yes to opportunities. Work out how you're going to do it, how you're going to get it done later. Don't worry about that to begin with. If it excites you, say yes to it. If it's something that's going to make you grow or help you grow, say yes to it. Figure out the how later. Thinking about it and not doing means you're going to do nothing. You're going to be stuck. So if you just keep thinking about it and overanalyzing, it means you're not doing. Thinking time is valuable doing time. So don't keep thinking about the same thing and not take action. Leave self-doubt for others. You know, how many billions of people on the planet? There's enough people doubting themselves who don't want to take action. Leave that for other people. Find your way to take action to be more confident. I do encourage you, whatever it is. Be careful, beware of labels. Labels stick. Be careful of the labels you place on yourself that restrict you. So if you've got a story, so I'm telling you everything about myself today. So I was diagnosed with MS in 2003. And for a long time, I was like, oh, I've got MS. Oh, I've got MS. Okay, it's a label. I was diagnosed with it. Doesn't mean I need to act it out. Doesn't mean I need to be disabled. I can do what I need to do. So that's what I did. I took away the label, and now I say I was diagnosed with. I don't say I've got, or I struggle with, or I'm challenged with MS, because that's a label. I don't want to put that on myself, and I don't want to own it. So be careful of the labels you put on yourself. Obviously, that's personal. If you've got an illness, that's different for you. But I'm talking about my own illness. Well, it's not an illness. It's something I was diagnosed with. Be careful. Labels stick. and then we end up acting on them. We end up behaving like the label. We own the label, and we think, oh, that's us. So be careful of the label that you place on yourself. If it's not helping you, if it's stopping you being confident, then have a look at that label. What is it that you're doing that is creating that lack of confidence? Because I do believe it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you keep saying, I'm not creative, I'm not a writer, I'm not a good public speaker, I'm introvert, I'm not extrovert, I don't like people, I like people. If you keep doing these things and you want something different, if you keep saying the same thing with that label, you're going to get the same thing. So just think about the labels that you're placing on yourself. So here's another question for you with regards to labels and restrictions. What label have you placed on yourself that is in fact holding you back? You're so determined that this label is true when it might not be, that it's holding you back. Do you have a label that you've placed on yourself? I want to hear that from you. Self-reflection time. Yeah, there you go. Okay, you've put that label on here. Have to leave. Thank you, Umbarum, you've gone. Wow. That you're very emotional, stupid. The other one, I've clumsy, I hear, cannot communicate effectively. And so I'm going to ask you these questions for you to work out. Who's placed these labels on you? Was it a label that someone else gave you that you now believe to be true? Poor memory. My partner says that all the time, Simon, when in actual fact, he doesn't have a poor memory. What he's doing is when he's doing this thing, he's thinking about that thing. So he's multitasking and he's not focused on one thing or the other. So he doesn't remember that he said he was going to do this or he was doing this. And I don't think he's got poor memory at all. He's just not concentrating on the thing or that thing, whichever. One thing at a time, I always say. But when he does focus, then his memory is like amazing. And I'm like, great. So anyway, just a sideline again. So these are the labels: can't teach, unsuccessful, bad cook. Sorry, Lucia, that's made me laugh for some reason. And do you want to own these labels? Do you continue living up to these labels? Or are you seeking to do something differently and break out of that? Yeah, okay. So I am a cold. So you've labeled yourself. So I'm afraid of starting a new job. You've labeled yourself with that. So again, and these labels are entirely up to you, but if they're stopping you from doing what you're telling me you want to do, which is to be more confident, which is why you're on this session or in some form or other, then there's some need to break out of it, some requirement to break out of that. Thank you very much for sharing these kind of very personal responses. I do appreciate that. I'm going to go into boundaries as well, because I think that's part of confidence building. Boundary setting is important. When you're a confident person, you are likely to say no. You say no when you need to or where you want to, because otherwise you end up either doing too many things, or you say yes to this and yes to that, and you don't really want to go. You know, back in the day when we could go out, remember those days? You would say yes to this party or yes to that meeting or yes to this, when you really wanted to stay at home and cook, or you want to stay at home and read a book. You know, boundaries, you know, say no when you need to or want to, or when you have to for your sanity. Say no, it's okay. Release any fear of missing out, because the world is going to go on. It's going to be fine if you don't go to that party, or you don't go to that meeting, or you don't say yes to that person. You know, release any fear of missing out and quit the people pleasing. Any people pleasers in the house? Saying yes constantly when it's wearing you down and it's driving you nuts. Create agreements with people when you're setting boundaries. Create agreements. So if you have a conversation with someone and they want you to do something, or you want them to do something, or you're doing something together, create agreements. I will come back to you by the 15th of March, you know, so that you've got something and you both know where you stand. So you set expectations. These are the types of things confident people do. You know, the list is exhaustive. but when it comes to boundary settings. So aim for doing that to help you to be more confident. Curb your ego as well. Truly confident people don't have a massive ego. They don't think, oh, I need to be right, I need to be first, I need to be perfect, I need to be the best, I need to be approved of, I need to shine brighter than everyone else like a peacock, you know. Confident people, they have that true inner grit. They know what they need to do. They have incredible values, sense of values as well, and they're okay with sticking to them. Not all confident people have good values, but you know what I mean. But they don't need to be egotistic. They can be quite calm with it. You know, if they're confident, they already know what their capabilities are. They don't need to go around telling everybody, look at me, look at me. So curb the ego. It can tear you down when it comes to that area of confidence. So just have a think about that. When it comes to building your confidence, I'm always amazed at people who are doing the most incredible things in the world, and they haven't written them down. They don't remember that last year they, I don't know, stood on a stage in front of 200 people. I'm making this up. They haven't written it down that they have a master's degree, and they don't use that to help them to feel better about themselves. I think it's really important to have somewhere your list of accomplishments, somewhere you can look back. So in those moments of doubt, or when you're not feeling strong, you can just go back and say, oh my goodness, look at what I've done. I actually use my work diary to see all my major accomplishments, and minor actually. I sometimes just have a big screen, and just, if I need to, just say, oh, or it's actually a reminder, oh, I did that, oh, I forgot I did that, oh, that was exciting. And it's like a memory. It's like looking back at pictures. So list your accomplishments to help you be more confident and have visibility about your confidence and what you're capable of, and have it written down. Some people don't like writing. Audio, video, pictures, whiteboards, whatever you need to do, stick up photos, print photos, whatever you need, just have that visual reminder, or kinesthetic reminder, that tangible reminder that you've got as to why you're confident. Okay, I'm mindful of the time, so I'm not going to race, but I will just remember, so you can get your Q&As in and we can turn off the recording. So what's beyond your comfort zone? What do you need to let go of? Those labels, those things that you're holding yourself back with, getting in your own way. What's beyond your comfort zone? What do you need to do to step out of that comfort zone? What's the first thing that you need to do? So someone literally said, I do remember that. Someone says they want to get out of their comfort zone. So if you are to get out of your comfort zone, that person who said that, what do you need to do? What's the first thing that you need to do? What is the first action step that you need to do to get out of your comfort zone? I want to hear what it is at the end. So write it. If you were the person that said you want to get out of your comfort zone, or if there's anyone else who wants to get out of their comfort zone, I want to know what getting out of your comfort zone looks like. Put CZ and then write what it is. So when I look back, I can refer to the question that you're responding to. So CZ, comfort zone, and what's the first thing that you would do if you were out of your comfort zone? And obviously we're stuck at home a lot, but is there something else that you can do when we're out of pandemic, or is there something else that you can do in the meantime? So here's my little frame that I just wrote up for you. I didn't just write up for you, but I said to you earlier that I would give you a reframe. So if you're the type of person who uses the language on the left and you want to replace it with something, but you must practice. So when you say, I can't, I'm not good at, I'm a control freak, I'm a control freak, I can let go. I need to know what the future looks like, I can let go. Angelique can help you with that. Mindfulness, I need to know what the future looks like, I'm going to practice mindfulness so I can be in the present moment. So all these different types of words and languages that you can use to reframe that level of I'm not good enough or a lack of self-belief. So rather than, you know, what if I fail? If I start my business, what if I fail? I'm determined to succeed. Or what if I fail? You could say, well, I will have learned something, so the next time I do it, I won't make the same mistake. There's lots of different ways that you can reframe your language. So all these tiny little habits and thoughts that you go through every day, they amount to bigger things. So if you're constantly saying, what if I fail? What if I fail? I'm tired, I'm not good enough. That's what you're going to become. You're going to become the person that doesn't look for solutions. So just remember that. So reframe your language and practice it. Must be a practice. And this is where I was saying, so being confident, it's not enough to think about it. Sorry, if you want to take a picture of that, or I'm happy to send it to you, whatever you need, or listen to the recording, then you can see it again. So being confident, it's never good enough to think about what you want to be more confident at. It's not good enough. I can't help you with that. There needs to be some action. You can't just think about or contemplate doing something differently, and you can't be fearful. Well, you can be fearful, but you do need to take steps to move past the fear. So just the one little action step helps you move past the fear. So here's a penny farthing. You know, someone had to get on that and ride it one day. You know, this is a crazy machine, but they mastered it. You can't, it's a beautiful thing. You can't master it just by looking at it. So look at what you need to do, look at what you want to change. By all means, be fearful of it, be afraid of it, think about it for a little bit, but not for too long. And at some point, you know, you can think about it for as long as you need to, but take some action, put it into practice, take some action, and start practicing. Start practicing so you get better. If you keep saying the same thing, you're just going to get the same thing. As I said it the other way around, but same shit, different day. You're just going to get the same thing. So bringing it all together now, something I've said to you today, I know I go fast, I'm sorry. Something I said to you today would have stood out for you. One thing here would have stood out for you. It would have resonated with you. Choose one thing, change one thing. And what's your first step going to be? So it's not enough to say, I want to be happy. You want to say, what's your first step? What is your first step going to be? So tomorrow or this evening or whatever, what's your first step going to be? I really do want to hear about it. And engage an accountability and support partner. It can be a friend, it can be a peer, you can pay for it, you can do volunteering, you can do skill swaps. Have someone help you to be more confident. So here I am. Take a picture, screenshot, find me on LinkedIn with your camera, if you're on LinkedIn, of course, or get in touch. Tell me all about what's going on for you. We're coming up to Q&A now. So, sorry, I'll leave that up for a second. Wessam will end